Hello, my friends. Are you ready for the next episode? Hello, Emilio.
Hello, Jeppy.
Welcome to the Dermoscopy Excellence
Digital Training.
Let's start from the clinical.
Are you ready for the scalp? Some data highlighting a significantly worse survival for acral melanoma.
Here, again, you make the diagnosis because of the arborizing vessels, sharply in focus. So, this is our destiny, my friends. If someone is connecting right now,
yes,
then they are saying, okay, let's stop seeing this stupid course.
But then, if you look at the tables and you see the reason why.
Melanoma on the face is a lazy guy.
Morphologically, dermatoscopically.
Bravo, my president. Ragazzi, ragazzini, allora,
Hello.
did you enjoy Barcelona?
Not that much,
Eh,
Ilario, but
I know, yeah.
It wasn't
See, I
perfect.
also have my glasses on today because I got eye problem, so I couldn't get my lens in my
no, but
eyes.
you look nice with your glasses, let me tell you.
Yes,
You look very
you like
sophisticated.
it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Very
yeah,
sophisticated.
really.
sophisticated. Yeah,
The philosopher. The philosopher.
the philosopher, even more. Where is
But
Nisa?
Sebastiano, wait a moment. Nisa is not with us today because she's traveling back right.
Ah,
Wait a moment, Sebastiano. Guys, we have a very difficult project to do. Eh? Be careful. Be careful. Let's start.
Happy
Birthday
To
you. Happy
Birthday
to
you. Happy
birthday
dear
JP.
Happy
birthday
to
you.
Tanti
auguri
a te. Tanti auguri a te. Tanti auguri a Geppi. Tanti auguri a te.
bravi, bravi, bravi.
Happy birthday!
Happy
Thank
birthday.
you, thank you, thank you so much. It's been yesterday, of course, but today I also celebrated with my family because yesterday I was on the way back to Napoli. Bene, bene, ragazzi, did you miss me?
Wow, I mean, you were not
So
there.
much.
We were spending our time doing things about you for you.
No, anyway.
By the way, that's the question of the week. Yeah, do you like to manage patients with red face? And while the people are responding to the question of the week, looking at this video promo that we have at the beginning for digital training, I saw there was the phrase that you said during the video. Melanoma on the face is a lazy guy, which is of course true. And by the way, as you know, one of the main things that we did in this weekend is to go on a huge step forward for the guidelines of lentigo maligna. I have to say that I'm very much optimistic that very soon we will have an official document that supports practically clinicians to apply a more conservative approach for the management of lentigo maligna. This is something that we consider very, very important. We've been discussing about it many years, I would say now. So it appears that it's mature now, the overall environment to say it in a more official way. That's good news, by the way.
Very good news. Very good news. We need guidelines in order to give the let's say a kind of piece of paper to everybody in trying to manage lentigo maligna a little bit more reasonably, not too much aggressive. Yeah, not too much aggressive. Very good. I'm very happy. By the way, we have a third saying yes, a third saying no, a third saying sometimes. I agree, and I suppose I put myself into the group of sometimes or even no. I don't like this problem at all. Mamma mia.
You got scared?
I'm good scared. Well, maybe I'm a little bit stressed because I react to things in a very sensitive way. Okay, so it's my task to present the paper of the week, which is here, as you can see clearly from the summary title. This is the paper by Emilio. Emilio, is this your most cited paper or among the most cited papers? Right.
Well, not in the top. Not in the top.
Not in the top 10. No. Okay.
Top 10, I'm not sure. I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
okay. But anyway, in my view, this was a very important paper because it was a little bit systematically trying to give us the possibility to add dermoscopy as a clinical armamentarium to simplify the differential diagnosis between various facial skin disorders like the seborrheic dermatitis, rosacea, sarcoidosis, lupus vulgaris, discoid lupus erythematosus, and granuloma faciale. Do you see many cases of granuloma faciale, by the way?
Not really.
No, no.
Maybe one in a month or
No, less.
even less.
One in 6 months or a year, maybe.
Yeah, okay. So 2, 3 per year or 1, 2 per year. Yeah, good. Yeah, me too. I suppose it's the same. Probably it's also because it's a little bit underestimated. But in my view, with dermoscopy, it's becoming a little bit more frequent because we are able to diagnose it a little bit better. So at the bottom of the at the end of the day, let's say the results are very simple. So we can look for dotted vessels and yellow scales. And when we see these two parameters, of course, we think about what? About seborrheic dermatitis, right? Yeah. And then if we see vascular polygons, this is much more, of course, in favor of rosacea. Then when we see orange color, orange yellowish areas and linear branching vessels, this is typical for what? For sarcoidosis, but also for lupus vulgaris. So, of course, in these cases, we need a biopsy to make this difference. And finally, we see follicle abnormalities and linear branching vessels in cases most frequently. These are the two most important criteria for diagnosing discoid lupus. And here, a few examples coming from the paper. On the left, you see a typical example of seborrheic dermatitis with these kind of dotted vessels and especially these yellowish scales. And on the right, the classical polygons that we can see in typical erythematous rosacea. On the left, the picture on the left is showing this kind of little small areas of orange color together with this kind of linear branching vessels. This was a sarcoidosis, but of course we need a biopsy in order to exclude a lupus vulgaris, which is pretty the same. While on the right side, the picture on the right side is showing one of the phases of discoid lupus with this perifollicular whitish halos and a variable amount of follicular pluggings. So this is one of the most important phases of discoid lupus. This is on the left another example of a lesion showing orange color and a little bit of branching vessels. In this case, this was a lupus vulgaris. Granuloma faciale. What are the criteria to diagnose granuloma faciale? First of all, clinically, this is a flat macular or a plaque-like lesion, usually solitary, and let's say clinically, it's quite brown. It's not very erythematous, but it's an erythema which is going more on the brown side of the red spectrum. And dermoscopically, as you can see here, you see some kind of dilated follicular openings with a little bit of perifollicular whitish halo and not uncommonly linear vessels intermingled between the follicles. Here, more examples, and I finish with these 4 pictures. Top left, what we have. We have scales, a little bit yellowish. So what we have? Eczema, exactly. Polygons, top right, very easy. Rosacea. Then bottom left, what we see? Dotted vessels. And what else? perifollicular whitish yellow. So in this case, we could suspect a discoid lupus. And finally, in the bottom right, we see follicular plugs, much more obvious, a little bit of superficial scales. And this is again, in this case, it's a little bit in between seborrheic dermatitis and a discoid lupus, but the orange vessels and the linear vessels, as you can see in the figure legend, suggest the diagnosis of granulomatous skin disease, in this case, sarcoidosis. Okay, good. In my view, we have to exercise now with a few cases, right?
Yeah. By the way, granuloma faciale is also in that study. I mean, we were not able to identify something really
Exactly.
unique. It is dermatoscopically somehow overlapping with lupus.
Yeah.
Because there is again a dilation of the follicular.
Some follicular plugging sometimes. Yeah.
And a vascular pattern, which is, of course, it's a vasculitis anyhow. Granuloma faciale.
Yeah. Let's repeat it. Granuloma facialis is a kind of vasculitis, capillaritis. In some way, it's we could add granuloma facialis within the spectrum of pigmented purpuric dermatitis. In some way.
It's not purpuric.
No, it's not purpuric. Yeah.
So it overlaps a little bit with discoid lupus, of course, with less evident. I mean, in the typical discoid lupus, we don't have only dilated follicles, but also a lot of plugging because of the characteristic follicular hyperkeratosis, which is the most important histopathological direction at the early stage of the disease. Yeah. But it's tricky. It's tricky. The point is that, now that you show the paper, I remember that, back then it was, these things were completely unknown. I mean, we were unsure if these things are correct or not.
Exactly.
And even the ones that looked very reasonable, for example, Rosacea.
Yeah.
But in the end, I mean, most of the things that we observed back then were rather correct.
Yes. The criteria works pretty well. And of course, nowadays we know it since many years. We tested the criteria in the practice.
Yeah. Okay, so then let's see now some cases that are, of course, in this differential diagnosis. And let's see how dermoscopy can guide us really in the daily practice to discriminate among entities. So we start with this 32-year-old woman with erythematous lesions on the face, appeared 1 month ago without any other history. Unfortunately, and I did it just a few minutes ago, since this is an online live webinar and it's also recorded and remains on YouTube and so on, so I had to use these boxes to hide as much as we can from the face, which somehow impedes the complete visualization, but that's a compromise we are obliged to do. So you can see some of this of the lesions, and I don't know if it's not an impressive eruption, but what do you think from a clinical point of view? Let me also.
Well, I'm in the.
I mean, differential diagnosis. What
discoid lupus, and granulomatous inflammatory.
Yeah.
Acne scoriae.
Acne scoriae, yeah.
Why not? Yeah. Okay.
Maybe granulomatous disease may be included here also. Actinic lichen planus that typically manifests on the forehead. I would say that this would be our differential, but honestly, from a clinical point of view, I don't know how we could conclude. I mean,
Yeah,
Huh?
probably we would have performed a biopsy, a small biopsy. Yeah.
So it's not an easy case to conclude. Okay.
No.
And let's see now if dermoscopy makes it substantially easier based on what you said, based on the criteria that you showed. Okay. So that's dermoscopy.
Ah, wow, showing a lot.
Yeah.
Mm.
So I think we have to remind to everybody is that in inflammatory disorders, when we see dermoscopy, it's not the case that it usually is in tumors. I mean, that you see, a BCC and you say, okay, it's a BCC.
Yeah.
We have to pay some more attention to see to analyze what we
We have
see.
to analyze. This is very often it's analytic approach and not a heuristic approach. Heuristic approach, but it's more analysis. Yeah.
Analyze what we see and also try to correlate with histopathology. So why do we see intense follicular plugging here, for
So
example?
my way of thinking here is this is very improbable a sarcoidosis because I see a lot of keratin, a lot of follicular things. So that's definitely not the case of sarcoidosis, not the case of even not a granulomatous rosacea, acne, no way. Lichen planus, no, too much keratin. So I would go for the keratin pluggings and a little bit of erythema that you can see in discoid lupus.
Yeah, although it's not an easy case.
No.
We have seen many times, we've shown many times clear-cut cases of lupus. This is not a clear-cut case of lupus clinically or even dermatoscopically, but dermatoscopically, as you said, we can see that there is a lot of keratin. We can see that there is definitely follicular plugging. And these are, in our differential diagnosis, strong clues favoring one of the diseases that we had thought clinically. So that's the way it works, in my view, in the reality. So DLE, follicular plugging, some short linear vessels, which is expected in lupus, and after a certain point of evolution, the vessels will become more predominant, and the follicular criteria will become less predominant as the disease evolves.
I'm so sorry to interrupt, Emilios, but we have already an amazing quote. When you see red face, put your dermoscopy and ACE.
Days, yes.
Oh,
Nice.
nice.
Nice. Thank you. Please continue. Please continue.
Different as your quotes.
Suggestions. Okay. And also we have some kind of whitish background, which is also in line with lupus because there is fibrosis, which in the evolution will become more evident. That's another case. Again, you see that clinically it's not a clear-cut case. It's just an erythema, maybe a little bit infiltrated, a little bit elevated. I don't think that clinically you can conclude with the diagnosis of lupus. Come on, no way. But then, as soon as you apply the dermatoscope, look how evident it becomes that there is follicular plugging, that there are some short linear vessels and a little bit of whitish background. Putting all this together, this makes the probability of discoid lupus quite high. Also in this case here. Okay, next one. 56-year-old man. You see this erythema and the superficial scaling, quite thick, focally at least. Recent onset, like, I mean, it's not a chronic disease, it's not a known diagnosis, it's 2-3 months duration. So from a clinical point of view, what would you think?
Dermatitis, discoid lupus,
Psoriasis?
Psoriasis, psoriasis.
Yeah. I think that's the reasonable differential diagnosis we can do here. I would say that comparing to the previous cases here, the erythematous squamous disorders are a little bit more likely. So dermatitis and psoriasis are a little bit more likely here as compared to before. Of course, we know what we expect to find in dermatitis and psoriasis. showed it. So
Yeah.
many dotted vessels or few dotted vessels with yellow scales.
Yeah.
And we also know what we expect to find in discoid lupus. So that's
Whoa,
dermoscopy.
that's discoid lupus 100%.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, again, you need some seconds to identify the follicular plugging because it's not that much evident. Much more evident is
Repeat again. First follicular pluggings, and then vessels are becoming more evident.
And then vessels are becoming more evident and white color becomes more evident. So at the beginning, we have the follicular criteria and the hyperkeratosis. At late stages, we have atrophy-related criteria. So telangiectatic vessels, linear vessels practically, and white color because of the fibrosis that slowly becomes very diffuse in the dermis. So here, again, I think that dermoscopy is extremely helpful to guide us to the correct decision. This cannot be a psoriasis, no way, with this kind of vessels, or an eczema. So it guides us to the correct diagnosis, which is discoid lupus again.
Emilius, just one. Sorry, if you can go back to the dermoscopic image. One question for the audience: why can't this be an SCC? You can see the white circles in the lower left, like at 7.
That's a very good point. That gives me the opportunity to say that the overlap between discoid lupus and SCC dermatoscopically is huge.
Yeah.
I mean, the classic SCC, not the poorly differentiated one, the classic SCC that we know. Because think about it, in the classic SCC, we see white circles surrounding the follicles. Inside the follicle, often we have plugs. We see quite a lot of white color, and we see also often vessels. And when vessels are present, they are usually these either hairpin type or short, linear, a little bit irregular. So very much overlapping criteria with discoid lupus. Of course, there is the clinical difference. Obviously, discoid lupus is, from a clinical point of view, different from a classic squamous cell carcinoma, but it's a good point. There is an overlap with SCC, that's clear. And also with actinic keratosis.
Absolutely. And I mean, an easy way to differentiate them is give like a 2-week course of corticosteroids topical, and you will see if it resides or not.
Yeah, but I would say that discoid lupus, unlike other diseases, is an entity for which usually we want an histopathologic confirmation, even when we are quite sure that this is discoid lupus. And it's true that with dermoscopy, we are much more sure as compared to the clinical examination, but still, I don't know what you do, but still for discoid lupus, usually we confirm with a biopsy.
Depends, yeah, but definitely in a case like this, when it's a little bit subtle, it's a nice idea to have a biopsy.
In most cases, biopsy, but if it's clear cut, I will proceed to treatment directly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unlike, for example, lichen planus. In lichen planus, you don't need to biopsy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let me ask you one more question concerning discoid lupus management. Do you always perform the serology testing for systemic lupus when you have a morphology of discoid lupus?
I would say yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Always.
I personally don't. When it's like clear cut, dearly like on the face, I don't.
Yeah, I understand, because the probability for a classic DLE to have systemic involvement is, I don't remember, less than 1%, something like this. While for subacute, it might be up to 10%. So it's extremely low probability. Therefore, I understand your point. On the other hand, it's just a blood test. It just is
a blood
exam. So I mean, I don't know. Yeah. Usually we do it.
Yeah. Good.
Okay, just to remind that in discoid lupus, we see many more things as the disease evolves. So at the beginning, keratin plaques, perifollicular halo, but then telangiectatic vessels. Pigmentation might also appear in the course of the disease because of the pigment incontinence in the dermis. And of course, structureless whitish areas, diffuse dermal fibrosis is very frequent. But all this is about discoid lupus. It's not about subacute or acute. For example, here you can see discoid on the left, subacute in the middle, acute on the right. And if we see a little bit larger the image, you see that in acute there are minimal follicular criteria. There is just some kind of erythema and a few vascular structures. So it's substantially different as compared to discoid lupus. And the same is for subacute also. Look in the middle, there is almost no follicular involvement, just a background color and some vessels. And if you compare it to the image on the left, which is discoid, you see the predominance of follicular plugging, which is very, very evident. Okay, next one, 55-year-old woman, erythematous patches, plaques on the face. You can see them on the malar areas, 45 days duration. History of flushing.
Rosacea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Should be rosacea. This is the most probable scenario. Other probabilities may be
Systemic lupus, yeah.
Systemic lupus.
Of course, eczema.
Seborrheic dermatitis.
Seborrheic dermatitis, yeah.
Even though this is more on the convex part of the skin of the face, so I'm not. It's third position.
Yeah. But rosacea is obviously the most important thing. And does dermoscopy confirm?
Yes.
Dermoscopy confirms. We see a lot of linear vessels with polygons, so it should be a rosacea. By the way, another thing which is present in the photograph, and I will show you where it is, and I want to highlight that this is not that much evident at the first sight. You have to pay attention.
You mean the tails? Yeah.
No, not the tails here. I mean that this orange hue, which is not so strong. It's not the real orange that you see classically in sarcoidosis, which is often the case in granulomatous rosacea. Usually in granulomatous rosacea, you don't have the intense orange color that you see in the classic granulomatous disorders. You have to pay a little bit more attention. So this was rosacea, of course, but with granulomas. By the way, this case was also biopsied, and you see the granuloma histopathologically in the deep dermis. Wonderful. Next one, it's a man. I shouldn't show it, but now I did. So that's the clinical differential diagnosis. I don't know if you agree more or less.
Well, juvenile acne. You mean juvenile acne, vulgar acne.
Yes.
Maybe he is too old. But rosacea for sure. Demodicosis, yeah, which is in the spectrum of rosacea. Periorificial dermatitis, which is still in the spectrum of rosacea in my way of thinking.
Yeah.
And what else?
I go for demodicosis with pustules.
Demodicosis with pustules. Bravo. But isn't it now much easier to say that this is demodicosis? Of course, we see that inside the follicle there is this thing that looks like it's not precisely like a plug. Of course, it's similar with a plug because it comes out of the follicle and it's white in color. Therefore, by definition, it's similar with a plug. But it's not precisely the same. It's not a keratin mass. It's something coming out really out of the follicle. These are the so-called demodex tails, and of course, demodicosis. And here you can see it often occurs, by the way, in
the eyebrows.
In the eyebrows, in the eyebrows.
In the meantime, we have with Cristiano Navarrete an incredible video in confocal. I don't have it here, unfortunately, where we're doing a confocal on the face, and you see the demodex coming out. This it's incredible. I need to find it.
Saying hello to you.
It was a hello sign.
Yeah.
Coming out of the follicle. Yeah.
Yes, it was incredible, incredible. I need to find that video.
Okay, let's see the last ones. 53 years old. Facial erythema and papules, 2.5 months duration. I don't know if you want to make a few quick guesses what it could be.
In rosacea.
Again, rosacea. Yeah.
Periorficial dermatitis.
Same stuff. Maybe I don't know, lupus if it's included in the differential. But once again, yeah.
Rosacea. Yeah.
Not only rosacea, but also look at this. Come on. Look at this again. These white masses that come out of the follicle.
Yeah.
I don't know how I could explain in words that there is a slight difference with plugs.
Yeah.
But you think that there is a slight difference with plugs?
This is the reason why the treatment of this kind of papular rosacea is very efficient with metronidazole or the
ivermectin even.
Ivermectin, yeah, exactly.
Okay, let me ask you on that. Topical metronidazole. For how long do you use it?
For chronically.
Chronically.
Yeah.
Do you get relapses when you do interrupt?
Yes.
What do you do then again?
Again.
Repeat.
Why I say to the patients, put it always, Yeah. Forever? Okay, come on, forever. It's a cream.
No, but this is always the problem. It's like,
yeah.
we do it for 3 months because supposedly it's like the initial indication. You do it for 3 months and then you can see what happens. But it always relapses. Like forever, yes, forever.
Yeah, for long periods, nothing is forever.
Yes.
Okay, next one. Quite strange. Heterolateral, only on the one side.
Tinea.
Tinea, but there are no scales. Of course, it could be explained only when if you apply creams and so on.
Yeah.
Tinea is a probability. I don't know what else. Can you think?
And then, of course, very asymmetric rosacea, which is strange. And what else?
Mycobacterium marinum.
Yeah. By the way, this patient was in fact diagnosed earlier as suffering from rosacea with no response to the classic usual treatments that we give for rosacea. Anyhow, that's the clinical close-up. And I will show you now Dermoscopy, which I think shows you something that makes you think something that you didn't think clinically because of Dermoscopy. I think so. I mean,
there is a lot of orange color.
A lot of orange color, exactly.
And vessels, so this could be sarcoidosis. Yeah.
This could be then a granulomatous disease that you didn't think about it clinically, because clinically it was not the case. So very good. That's precisely what it is. It's a granulomatous disorder. In this case, it was not sarcoidosis, but tuberculosis.
Okay.
Nice.
But I think that it's, again, an example showing how dermoscopy sometimes makes you see something that was invisible, and then you think something else that you didn't think earlier from the clinical point of view. And these are, again, cases with this typical orange color that we see in the granulomatous disorders, and you see that it's a more intense orange color as compared to the one we saw in granulomatous rosacea. Okay, next one, let's do it very fast. Clinically, it's what, lupus or?
Psoriasis dermatitis.
Psoriasis dermatitis, but it's neither nor. It's not lupus, it's not psoriasis, it's not dermatitis.
Orange.
Predominated by orange color, and this is a classic sarcoidosis that dermatoscopically it's really so easy to recognize. Okay, I will skip this one. I will just finish with this one, which is a quite impressive case. I remember it well. 53-year-old, 1 month duration, not responding to steroids. Referred for biopsy. Clinical diagnosis lupus erythematosus.
Dermatitis.
Dermatitis, of course, of course. There is also a clinical clue, I would say, because I know the diagnosis now. Anyhow, that's dermoscopy.
Okay, there is erythema, dotted vessels, scales, some yellow scales.
Yeah, but look at the scales. Look at this. Look at the border of the scales.
Don't tell me that this is tinea.
Tinea, tinea,
Tinea?
Come
tinea. Yeah. It's impressive case of tinea, but look characteristically how the scales are. These are the typical scales of tinea.
Yeah.
The ones that are destroyed from the from the one side only. Okay, good.
Wow.
That's the mycological exam. Very good.
Wonderful.
Excellent.
Let's see if we have something.
Don't be left with a red face. Use your dermatoscope to solve the case. Or red face can dermatoscopically face.
Yes.
Nice. Okay.
But we have no questions, do we?
No questions for the moment. Yeah.
Okay, very good.
So it brings me to
Sebi.
Okay.
During this Melanoma Awareness Month, we're stepping up the fight against skin cancer. Backed by popular demand, our trusted HEBM master and photofinder Vexia are ready to transform your practice with cutting-edge precision. Only this May, secure an incredible deal. Receive 24 months of AMI integration and software updates at no additional cost. Equip your practice with our advanced systems, enhancing your diagnostic capabilities and patient care. Act now. Visit our website or contact us to secure this offer. Early detection saves lives. Make a difference with us.
Wonderful. Perfect.
Fantastic. Very
And
good.
actually, we do have a question now. If we test for Helicobacter pylori when we diagnose rosacea?
I do not. Should I?
I don't do it as a rule, but symptom guided, in some way. But I'm not sure. What about what about the literature about it?
I also am not updated on this question. I remember these discussions just the residency that we were.
I don't know.
It depends from the pretest probability. If that's why I was asking concerning the test for systemic lupus, since the pretest probability is very low. But why not? I mean, especially this kind of very heavy and recurrent rosaceas. I don't do it, by the way. Yeah.
I never do it, but maybe we should.
Yeah.
It's a good point to update ourselves on the literature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful. What do you have any dermatoscopic clues for dermatomyositis? Well, there are.
I had a case, but I didn't show it because we were running late. Well, dermatomyositis is very similar to, from a dermatoscopic point of view, to systemic lupus or subacute lupus, which makes sense because also histopathologically dermatomyositis and systemic lupus are very much overlapping. Unfortunately, they are relatively featureless from a dermatoscopic point of view. We see mainly an erythema and some short linear vessels, which is really not a typical pattern. Of course, in dermatomyositis, there is the use of dermoscopy for capillaries, the capillaroscopy, the so-called. Even with the handheld dermatoscope, sometimes the capillaries of the nail fold can be visible, but with the high magnifications, much more, and they might be a helpful clue. But in cutaneous lesions, it's not really a specific dermatoscopic pattern.
Yeah. And any clues for lupus tumidus?
Also the same thing, because of the deep infiltration Dermatoscopically, we don't see much. And the follicular criteria are really minimal in lupus tumitus. So again, not really.
These are all biopsy-driven diagnoses.
Yes, definitely. Absolutely. Yeah.
Bene, Costantino, what did you prepare for us?
Wait a moment. Before this, Joby, you don't have to tell us something, no?
I suppose after Costantino.
After okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. So I've prepared some cases for us to discuss with red face. And this is a very smiley, wonderful lady, 4-year-old, with these new red spots. It appeared 2 hours ago. And
she was coughing.
Her
2 hours ago.
parents brought her like very urgently on what this is.
Yeah, she was coughing, cough. Crying, coughing, what?
She was crying and she was doing like this all the time. Yes, exactly. So capillaritis.
Yeah, but I can recall, I like it very much because I can recall the time that it happened to me for the first time.
Really?
Not happened to me, as a doctor, to see this for the first time, and that was really shocked. I mean, I said, what's going on? What?
But can you believe it that I never saw a similar case? Never.
Really?
Really? Okay. So the first time you're gonna see it, it's gonna be a surprise. I mean, you're gonna say, "Wow, what's going on here?"
Yeah.
So yes, the little
No, she does it all the time when she's crying.
yes, but she was crying a lot, and she was like doing like this all the time.
Yeah.
And I mean, that was the first question to the parents: what happened? And it's like, you didn't get your ice cream or something.
No, diagnosis is unhappiness.
Unhappiness, exactly, unhappiness. This is I mean, the whole point is red faces.
Red face, rare. What a red face, huh?
This is a very red face.
Oh my God.
Yes. So anyone wants?
Under treatment. No?
Exactly. This is what's going on after imiquimod when people are applying too much.
So it was 5 of you. This is how the patient came to me.
But can you imagine once a patient this age, we prescribed imiquimod, and you know that we have this little one dose
Packet, yes.
Yeah, take it. And he understood that he had to apply all the 12 little boxes together.
Yeah.
One shot. All 12 in the box. You know what I mean? So he came the day after a little bit disappointed, let's say so.
But the thing is that no matter how well you explain to the patients the application, to be honest, it's one of the reasons that I don't use imiquimod anymore. The reaction, well, anymore, but very rarely I prefer 5FU because at least it's the cream and you apply it. With the sackets, people get so confused.
Yes.
So confused.
Impressive. Very good.
But guys, we love imiquimod. Come on, we have a long-standing relationship with
long-standing relationship. We cannot betray completely imiquimod in favor of Efudix.
I know. I do love imiquimod, but the application, like the practical application by the patients, is so horrible.
Yeah,
it's absurd.
Yeah.
This is a lady that came to me with these itchy lesions present there for the past 1 month.
Mm-hmm.
And this is Dermoscopy.
Okay.
You have any ideas?
Orange.
Plugging? Is this plugging?
Plugging, yeah. Or let's say, follicular stuff. And
Orange and plugging are in Leishmania, but doesn't look like Leishmania.
Yes, but look at the clinical as well.
yes,
Clinically, it doesn't look like Leishmania.
this is granulomatous rosacea.
Don't say. Maybe the audience will, somebody from the audience.
Yeah.
Send us your ideas. What do you think this is, guys?
Yeah. While I am copying and pasting the quotes, we have
PK, Leishmania, sarcoidosis.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Do we have a winner or not yet?
Sarcoidosis seems to be granulomatous rosacea, granuloma faciale.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's not so easy, eh? I see that
It's not so
everybody is saying something different.
Did anybody find the correct answer, Konstantinos, or not yet?
Yes, they did.
Okay, then say it. Then you can say it.
And this is the patient after 3 weeks of corticosteroid cream. It was a granuloma faciale.
Nice. No, it makes sense. Makes sense.
Yes.
Very good.
Yes, but it's but did you perform a biopsy, right? No? Okay.
Okay. So you baptize it, granuloma.
Yeah.
I like it so much. Yeah.
It looked like granuloma faciale.
Guys, in dermatology, it happens. It happens sometimes that we have to baptize
Yes.
this. It's okay.
I'm a godfather for this lady. This is. And here, 55-year-old patient with this very strong erythema on the face. Then this is the dermoscopy. Any ideas from the audience? Rosacea, of course. Very typical.
Yeah.
And this would be my guesses.
Very good. Very nice. By the way, let me tell you something concerning our friends from INI. I just got, just right now, that's why I'm not prepared to use it during the episode, this nice adapter for the INI Delta 30 Pro, that, by the way, I just remind you that we have let's say kind of competition to win a Delta 30 Pro. You just have to connect to the website you find here in the slide, and then you will be sorted out the winner of the Delta 30 Pro. By the way, I don't know if you understand how things are going concerning taking pictures, taking dermoscopy pictures. Nowadays, not anymore many companies are producing, let's say, specific lenses for dermoscopy pictures. I mean, of course, we have couple in the market, but this is not the way to go, in my view, in the future, because in the future, probably we will take all pictures with this, with our phones, with our smartphones. The quality of the smartphones is very high. The clinical pictures are brilliant, and with a device, with an adapter like this, we can easily connect our devices. Concerning the Delta Pro, of course, it's easy. We can connect it, and this is also nice because you can remove it. You can use your cover like a usual cover, and then you can adapt, let's say, the end piece in order to attach your Delta Pro.
And the good thing is that it can be applied to any smartphone camera, because at the beginning, when the company started producing these cases, every time we had to change a phone,
exactly.
It did not work. So
exactly. Nowadays, it's much easier. You can adapt to basically all the new smartphones on the market.
So take part until May 21st. It's a nice, I would say, prize. Nice prize. Very nice prize. Nice.
Yes, definitely.
answer the question there, and you will be part of the competition. Wonderful.
Wonderful.
Fantastic.
Linda is asking, how many millimeter punch do you take most often from the face? Let's say we don't usually go less than 3 millimeter punch. It's better to use 4 millimeter punch.
4 is also the one I use almost. 4.
Yeah, almost.
I always use 4, unless it's to excise a basal cell carcinoma, then do a 6 millimeter and take it out.
Yes, exactly. So let's say 4. But also with 3 is fine. I mean, the pathologist can give you a diagnosis, but it's not so.
Well, pathologists can give the, in inflammatory disorders, it's not always the case that the pathologist will give a diagnosis. It's,
They will give a description. The thing is that, come on, if you see, we as dermatologists, and this, I need to say it in favor of the pathologists, as dermatologists, when we see the dermoscopy of half the dermoscopy of a lesion, it's not helpful for us. Like the larger biopsy you take, the better information it can give you.
Exactly.
So I would say never 2, 3 maybe, but at least 4.
Yeah. Granted. Wonderful. What else, Emilio?
Dimitri,
What else?
What else? Nothing else.
Nothing else? No, come on.
Oh,
We have Penelope.
Of course, we have Penelope. Penelope is always here.
Chiaro.
Always here. Wait a second. Here we are. Okay, good. So, 5 nice gifts by Penelope, as always. The first is from Lisa, by the way.
Sorry to interrupt, Emilio. Someone is saying that the website is not active, probably referring to the INI website. Maybe, Sebi, can you write in the chat that maybe Federico and or someone could check with the INI guys in order to make sure the website is working? Good.
Very good. Let me first say that we miss Nisa a lot today. I mean, it's not nice, the 3 of us. I mean, come on.
No. With 2 ugly guys like you.
Yeah. It's look at the face of Nisa. When we speak too much, but it's only for today. She will be, of course, she's traveling. She will be in the. So, 55-year-old woman, dome-shaped nodule on the vertex for 2 months. I have to say that when looking at the cases that Penelope sent, this one, I was able to say the correct diagnosis. Can you?
Pilomatricoma.
Pilomatricoma, yeah. It also came to me immediately as a diagnosis because of the intense, of course, white color, but also here, this
bluish.
Bluish.
Mauve.
I cannot. Purple. Fracture coloration is again frequent in pilomatricoma. So, what's the diagnosis? Pilomatricoma. There is also some kind of rainbow in the sense that there is this alteration of different colors, homogeneous white, of course.
By the way, guys, I just noticed that Penelope takes so much time in order to prepare this. The perfect illustration of rainbow pattern, she has done it in a rainbow. Like, imagine how much time it's taking in order to do. Penelope, thank you so much.
But I mean, with this, we have to think to do something with this collection of cases that Penelope has sent, because they are, overall exceptional, great cases.
It's easy. We have to publish the Penelope Atlas.
Penelope Atlas. Yes, Penelope Atlas. Exactly. Okay, for Konstantinos, 75-year-old woman again, very subtle pink plaque on the lower limb. That's the clinical. You don't see much. Dermatoscopically, you see much more.
Yes.
But still, we don't know what it is.
Poro.
Yes.
Poro.
Ah, I was
bravo.
about to say that you have to look carefully because it's not coming
Bravo. Wow. Yeah.
not coming immediately, but if you look carefully, it comes. Yeah.
Yes.
Oro, keratosis, the keratin rim, also some brown, I would say, granules, the so-called brown peppering, linear irregular branch vessels. Very good. Philosopher, for the philosopher who today looks also like a philosopher very much.
Yes.
69-year-old woman, 3 asymptomatic nodules, more or less erythematous, on the root of the right arm for 6 months, thinks she was bitten by a spider.
Yeah. Orange.
Orange a little bit.
Pseudolymphoma. Yeah.
Vessel.
These are, yeah, this is the, we call it, when we see 3 bites together, we say breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Lovely.
Okay, so this orange color makes you think of a dense lymphocytic infiltration. Therefore, pseudolymphoma. Unfortunately, this was correct. It was a dense lymphocytic infiltration, but not a pseudolymphoma, but a primary cutaneous marginal zone B-cell lymphoma. And we already said that the orange color is the main clue, plus some vessels in lymphoma. They might be present, some linear vessels, serpentine. Okay, then for me, a woman again without any skin cancer history. For some time, she has felt a small formation above this very old nevus. And
if it's not a BCC, it's a trichoepithelioma.
Yeah. If it's not a BCC, then it's a
trichoepithelioma.
Trichoepithelioma, which is the number 1 adnexal cell that mimics BCC. It's not trichoepithelioma.
Trichoblastoma.
Trichoblastoma, yeah. Of course, here I said, when I saw the case, I said, how is it possible that she sent such an easy case? It's a clear-cut BCC. No problems. And but then, of course, I understood that there must be something else. Trichoblastoma, mimicking BCC. Well, trichoblastoma is not mimicking BCC. Trichoblastoma is identical to BCC. That's it's. Of course, no clue. I agree, no clue. It looks perfectly like BCC. No, nothing that we can do to discriminate them. And for SEBI,
yeah,
we have a 52-year-old man, anterior cervical lesion evolving for 2 months, worsening after the application of a wart remover.
SCC.
Well,
SCC.
the pattern is the pattern of an SEC, yeah. But what else? Molluscum. No.
Well, look, usually I have noticed
Maybe.
For the case that Penelope sends for Sebastiano, unlike the other ones, the case for Sebastiano is usually reasonable.
Normal.
So it is what it looks to be for the Sebastiano case. So it was squamous cell carcinoma.
Yeah.
Very good. With, of course, all the criteria for follicular plaque, white circles, keratin, and so on and so on. Wonderful, fantastic.
Excellent.
Thank you.
We're done.
Much.
Well done.
Thank you so much. So now, and we are quite on time today, very short delay. Now it's time for the Kahoot.
We lacked one presenter. That's why we're on time. Otherwise.
Okay, it's time for the Kahoot, and we will start with the quote of the day. We have many suggestions we had, so unfortunately I can only include 6 at maximum to be included in the poll. So,
Emilius, is it an easy or a difficult Kahoot?
You know, but you prepared the Kahoot. I just included one case which is not so easy. So answer the question.
Medium.
Medium.
Let's see. Did I share the sound? Do you hear sound?
Yes. And at the same time, like the problem seems to be fixed. Like we see all the people joining.
You know, I never considered it as a problem, so I don't care if it's fixed.
Guys, did I tell you that a patient came and he was watching Happy Hour?
Really?
No, like a patient came in to my hostel and it was randomly assigned to me to examine him. It's like, oh, I know you. I've seen you in Happy Hour. It's like, what do you watch Happy Hour?
Come on.
Okay, let's start.
Let's go.
2, 1, and let's go. Episode 16, by the way, guys. We are in the very final part of the season. So the poll is for the quote. When you see red face, put your dermoscopy in ACE. Get rid of red. Don't mistake a red face for a blush. Don't be left with a red face. Use the dermatoscope to solve the case. Not all reds are the same. Don't be red-faced when you see a red face.
Don't be red-faced when you see a red face.
And the winner is the first, marginally, but the first. When you see red face, put your dermoscopy and ACE. Nice.
Really?
Wonderful.
Very nice.
Wonderful.
Okay, so now we start with the cases. This is the first one. Located on the back, on the upper back of a rather young lady, I would say. That's dermoscopy.
Ah, interesting.
Speed choice.
Come on. Let's see the quiz. So, nevus melanoma, dermatofibroma, BCC, pigmented Bowens, or solar lentigo. Do you consider this an easy case?
I don't know the answer, but I can guess that. Diagnosis will be from biopsy. I can tell you this.
36 correct answers for nevus. So now that you know it's a nevus located on the upper back, and then maybe you can guess what kind of nevus this is.
Age of the patient?
Young.
Okay.
This gray bluish in the center, upper back, young person.
Sclerosing.
Yeah.
Sclerosing.
Sclerosing, yeah.
Sclerosing. Typically in sclerosing we have, of course, it becomes suspicious, but the reason why it becomes suspicious is almost always this gray color in the center. Sometimes it's gray with a little bit of white. Also here we have a few white lines. That's the typical pattern of sclerosing nevus. Okay, and we have Laura, skin lover, and Ola in the first places. Then, case number 2, 72-year-old male presents with changing lesion left inframammary. That's the clinical. This is dermoscopy. Okay. And the options are BCC, regressive melanoma, LPLK, dermatofibroma. And there is also an angioma.
Yes.
And the correct answer is LPLK, of course. That was quite reasonable, I would say. A lot of gray granules, so LPLK. And we have giallo rosso, lover and skin lover in the first 3.
You know that giallo rosso is very suspicious to be someone living in Roma.
Yes.
Why?
Giallo.
Giallo Rossi.
These are the colors of Roma.
Roma, yes.
Yes. 62-year-old female patient with new erythematous lesion on the left arm.
If I can add, patient with a history of melanoma.
Okay, patient with history of melanoma. That's dermoscopy. Okay. Okay. And what's your diagnosis? Dermatofibroma, squamous cell, Spitz melanoma.
Anyway, we don't hear too much the music. I suppose it's not. Not really. Okay.
You still don't hear the music?
No, we don't.
No.
We're
So Spitz is the winner, but melanoma is the correct.
Yes, and if you can show the media videos, it's so 62-year-old with a history of melanoma, with a new lesion. Yes, of course, spitzoid looking, with a lot of blood vessels and shiny white lines.
Yeah.
But I mean, the reasonable diagnosis in a 62-year-old is not a Spitz nevus, it's a melanoma.
Yeah. Good.
Very good. So let's see what's happening here. Lavinia, Didi, and Ave in the first three places. We continue with this one. 56-year-old female patient presents for total body skin examination with this very nicely looking lesion clinically. Very sympathetic, very, very, very banal. Also dermatoscopically extremely, extremely banal. Okay. And, okay. What's the Breslow thickness? What's the Breslow thickness?
Yeah. It's definitely an ulcerated lesion.
Yes, it is ulcerated. But it's not, in the clinical, not very nodular.
Yeah. I would say between 1 and 2.
I would say 2. It's 1.
1.1, yes.
Good, good. Yeah, I would expect more, let me tell you.
Good for the patient.
Yes, of course. Okay, what's going on here? Lavinia is still in the first place, Coca and PH. And this brings us to the last one, I guess. This should be the last one.
Yes.
That's clinical. That's dermoscopy. Okay. Okay.
It's true.
This lesion is most likely a melanoma in situ.
By the way, Alberto is saying that giallo rosso is also the colors of Lecce. You are right, Alberto. Yeah.
So false. It's an invasive melanoma, of course. Do you remember the Breslow thickness here? It should be, again, close to 1, 0.67?
0.5.
5? Good.
Right.
Good. Okay, let's see what happened. Third place. PH.
Oh.
Second place, Lavinia.
Lavinia.
And the first place goes to Coca.
Brava, Coca.
Coca. Hai capito. Wonderful.
Fantastic. We have Coca to congratulate him or her. And then we finished, guys. It was that was it.
Yes. A very easy episode. Lots of nice images. Let me tell you, I love dermatology because of the general dermatology vast, let's say, scenarios, right? Yeah, it's so good.
I always include in my talks that it's like dermatology. Many people think of it as something comparatively easy, but we are the only specialty that have over 3,000 diagnoses.
Yeah.
if you accept general medicine, like we're the second.
Yeah. Lily is here. Lily.
Lily,
Lily Coca.
yes.
Lily Sosa is Coca. Let's see if we will have her.
Lily Sosa, based on the family name, let's suppose the country of origin.
Can only think of Sky Sosa.
Kaiser Sosa.
Sosa. Lily, can you hear us? Can you open your microphone, your camera, something? She's from Croatia.
Croatia.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Thank you, Lily. Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Lily.
Ragazzi, see you next Sunday.
Next Sunday and the next Sunday, for the 4 next Sundays, we will be here with Dermoscopy Happy Hour Season 3, the last episodes.
By the way, let me interject that we would love to do the last episode with cases from the audience. So please send us your cases, your interesting cases, so that we can build an episode based on that.
Wonderful. Take care. Have a lovely dinner.
Thank you all very much.
Ciao. Baci.